How are you
How
doing?
how are you? I'm good. All right, it's
I've
good.
been good.
Good. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come meet with me.
No problem. Sorry it's taken me so long to get on here.
It's okay. I've been waiting on you, but I think we've been back and forth. Like I remember, then life is
My
busy.
memory is bad.
Well, it's probably not bad, but you have that baby, right? That
Yeah,
little
I
girl. And
literally just keep getting preoccupied.
right. When you have toddlers, I think you just go into this like mom survival mode where that's what you do with your day. Like it's almost
Literally.
like they dictate the day, right?
That's so true. Yep, that's my everyday.
Right. She's in charge. You wouldn't think something so little could be in charge, but they are.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So is she two yet?
She's almost 3. She'll be 3 in September.
Oh.
So I had to put her down for a nap actually to hop on here because otherwise she can't stand when I'm on the phone giving attention to anybody. So
Right. Well, she could have just hopped right on too. So, so you are originally from Kentucky?
yes, I've never lived anywhere else.
Okay. Born and raised. That is
Yeah.
awesome. So, where did you grow up then there in Kentucky?
So it's kind of confusing because I claim 2 different counties. Because for like the first half of my life, I mainly lived in Lee County, Kentucky, where my mom is from.
So that's
Um,
That's like Betaville, right?
yes,
Okay.
really, it's a lot smaller, a lot more country values, stuff like that. But Berea, here where I'm at right now, is where I spent the other half, and I've I guess I love Berea a little bit more, I would say, because I just can't leave. I'm still here today. So,
Berea is an amazing town. And for people that don't know Berea, Kentucky, if you ever go through central Kentucky, you should stop in Berea, and they have all of these homemade arts and crafts and this whole downtown area. It's huge artisan area. Talk about that a minute.
it's beautiful. It's everywhere you turn, you see something artistic. There's so many little events they have for artists here. So many good little local businesses. Everybody's so friendly, and mostly everybody knows each other. So it's just a quiet, like really safe little town that I've always loved, and I grew up going to school here, so it's
And
close to my heart.
it's beautiful. I was there, I'm going to say back in January, and I went to this little shop downtown. There was a couple of them. There was one, and I walked in. There was an older couple that ran it, and they had all of these this jewelry, necklaces and rings that were made from like different rocks and gems and stuff. And I just thought they were buying this stuff, and they were like silver, and the necklaces were silver, and then there was a gem inside of it. And I thought they were just buying it. Turns out they're making it. They're ordering these crude rocks, they're polishing them, but he is making the silver for those rings and necklaces himself and
That's
all
great.
this. It's beautiful. And I was like, "You're making this? Oh my goodness." And he said, yes. He said, "Would you like to come in the back here and see how we make it?" And I can't remember if we had the video camera on or not. I hope we did, because we maybe post some of that content so people can see. But then right there too, there was a man who was making like let's say dulcimers and dough bowls and just like rolling pins, like hand making stuff out of wood. And so I was just kind of blown away at the craftsman and the artisan stuff that's down there.
Oh, I'm sure that sounds really hard to do. I definitely couldn't do anything like that.
Yeah, me neither. Right. I was like, wow, you're just
I'm artistic in a different type of way.
so you sing, but you write poetry, you paint, draw? What else? Are you or just singing? Is that your art, or do you do other things? Are you crafty?
um, I'm not really that crafty, honestly. I failed art in high school, so I'm not that good. But I enjoy doing it, even if it might not look the best. I do like to do things like paint, and I love to read though, and I do love poetry. And back in like high school, I'd say I took a lot more time writing poems and stuff, but now I don't, but I have started just doodling around writing songs that I randomly think of, just little lyrics that I put in my notes. And I actually have I've connected with a woman. I can't remember what part of Kentucky she said she's from, but after my audition aired, she reached out to me, and she is a songwriter, but she doesn't really sing. She likes to write more than sing,
Okay.
and she pitched out this song to me that she's had for years and years. It's really important to her. It's about her son who passed away probably a few years
Oh,
ago, I think.
yeah.
But she told me, she was like, I just haven't found the right voice for it that I think should sing it. She was like, until I heard you, she said, I think I want you to sing the song for me. So I guess that is in the works in the future a little bit. We're going to go to Nashville and probably record it professionally and see what happens with that. So that's something exciting about to happen.
That's really exciting that she reached out to you. And I'm sure that you are going to have a ton of that. So you're talking about your audition. So let's talk about that. You were on American Idol, the most recent season, right?
Yes, yes. And it was a crazy experience.
What? Tell me about it. I want to hear all about it. I'm never going to get to do that. So let me live vicariously.
I'm so glad I finally made it in. First off, I've tried out so well. Everybody knows that's the main story about me is I tried out so many times and I finally made it on this season. Um, so I had been in contact with like casting producers on like Instagram and stuff like that. They already kind of knew who I was because I aggravated them so bad throughout all these years. I would send in video submissions and just beg to be on the show pretty much. And I guess finally they got tired of me bugging them. But that I did a Zoom audition last summer. I think I did the first Zoom audition in like June or something. And then it was just like a couple months of waiting for them to reach back out if they made a decision or if they wanted me to send in more. And they reached out finally, probably a little bit over a month later, and set up a Zoom for me to do the executive audition, like for the executive producers. And that would have determined whether I was going to be on or not. So I think it was in like August, I did that Zoom with the executive producers. And later on, it was either later on that day or the day after or something, they had me get back on and told me that I was going to go for the judges audition. And I'd never made it that far. I've made it to like executive producer auditions, but then it would just end right there. So I definitely wasn't expecting them to say that. So of course I cried and freaked out. And then I had to start getting my stuff ready and saving up money and all this stuff to go to this audition, which luckily they have them like they try to place you at the ones that are closer to where you live. So I just had to go to Nashville. It wasn't that far from me, but it ended up being a lot of money, like all together. You know, you gotta the travel up there, the food, the hotel room. You have to have the money on your card, even though they'll reimburse you at the end of the week. But it was just a bunch of stuff happened when I got there that I just wasn't expecting. So it was definitely a whirlwind. But I met so many talented people from all over the place, and especially at Hollywood Week, I met a lot more people from different areas. But that it was a good experience, and hopefully they'll have me back one day because I want to go further, a little bit further than what I made it to.
Right. And how far did you make it?
I made it to after round one was over, Hollywood Week. We were the first group, like the biggest group that was cut. There was like 50 something people, 54 people out of like 148 or something that got cut just in after that first round.
Okay.
So it was brutal, but yeah. Yeah.
But still, did you feel like that's like a dream since you were a little girl, right? Did you feel like a princess, like that's, like Barbara Mandrell, like you were Reba McEntire, you were down there in Nashville around all the,
Oh yeah,
great people.
Don't even get me started. We were
Yeah.
filming B-roll like on this random street in this alley. B-roll was like where you just like kind of walk and look like you're thinking about what's about to happen or stuff like that. And I was doing that, and there's people like that are touring the town on buses and stuff, and these women went by on this bus and stopped in the middle of the road and were like, because there was a few of us, like 3 of us had to go with a group of producers and do B-roll on that street. And they were like, are you all filming for American Idol? And where we weren't really supposed to say, so we kind of tried to ignore the question. And she was like, you're on American Idol? And just kept asking me. I was like, oh my God. Yes. I mean, I can't hide it now. They were sitting there with the cameras in front of me, and
Right.
it was pretty obvious, but I definitely felt like a celebrity for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't care about I don't care about being famous. It's just a goal of mine that I always had to make it onto a show and compete like that. And just to be on national television one time was crazy. So
Yeah.
that's really all I wanted out of it, and the opportunities that it would bring me after, like stuff like this. Like I like doing little things like this, and I like performing for small crowds and just stuff
Right.
like that. But I've got a few things coming up that we can talk about later too, with opportunities that I've gotten since I've gotten home.
So yeah, that I wanted to talk about that. So that's another part of, even if you don't win American Idol. I mean, look, Morgan Wallen got kicked off The Voice, and that didn't stop him at all. So just because you don't win or you didn't, make it all the way, that doesn't mean that this has not jump started something great for you, because it can open opportunities. So let's talk about what you're doing and what your fans can expect from you coming
Well,
up.
they can always expect me to be posting on my socials like TikTok. I mainly post my singing videos on TikTok. I do
Okay.
post on Instagram, but not as often as I do TikTok. So I would stick with that. But
Well, and we'll post all of those links in the description of the podcast so everybody can go follow you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow me. I won't disappoint you.
Yeah.
I've got well, I told you about that song that I've got coming up that I'm going to work on with this woman. I'm going to keep it kind of confidential right now because we haven't even started. But
yeah,
other than that, she's got many other songs that she's written like throughout the years that she is going to pretty much give to me and see if I want to do something with it. And then I've got the most exciting thing that's happened is in August, I will be opening for somebody, like a former semifinalist on The Voice. Bias is his name.
Okay.
He made it really far on there. I think he was on Gwen's team, but I'll be opening for him in August at a little like event opening thing. They're having a new stage that they're opening in this little town. I think it's Versailles, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down there and do that on like August 11th, or I'll have to go back and look, but
yeah.
And I've been invited to sing at a couple weddings and like around here in Berea and Richmond, there's venues and places that have live music every weekend about it. I've been invited to do that. So there are all kinds of, people will randomly message me though. It's not been like an everyday thing. People ask me to do stuff. I pretty much went back to living my normal life, but
is that something you would like to do? Like, I mean, I don't know that that's even, it'd be hard to fit in your schedule with a toddler, but would you like to go, every night of the week and sing at different venues like bars or restaurants or festivals? Is that something you would enjoy doing?
I love festivals. I would love to sing at bars. Is not really so much my scene. I don't know. I just don't feel as comfortable there. So, and
Yeah.
it would be hard for me to do that often, like a lot of these musicians do. That's why it's really hard for me to just straight blow up and go into touring and crazy stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure people saw that and they were like, well, how's she going to do that? And I was
Right.
even thinking, I don't know. I just jumped into it head first and didn't know what to expect. But
Right.
I will sing as much as I can wherever I can.
Right. Well, there's a lot of, and Kentucky has a lot of festivals. I know right now there's a Mountain Girl Festival this weekend, I think, going on in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah,
So that,
I've actually, somebody asked me to sing at that, but then they never reached back out to me, so I haven't heard anything. But
yeah,
I
I
don't
think,
care. I like the festival scene, and I like to sing at like weddings and stuff. Not
yeah,
everybody, not like especially older people. There's still people commenting on my audition, like like they're just now watching it. So
right,
I was expecting like everybody in the world to be, which that first week that my audition aired, my phone was getting blown up by just everybody in the world. But once that people realized that I didn't advance that far, it kind of slowed down a little bit. So
right. Mm,
that's why I don't have as many
yeah.
opportunities as I would have liked to right now. But it's okay. It's a slow process.
It is. And I, God will open those doors when the time is right. And the doors that
Yeah.
he opens, they will be perfect for you. So
Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah, that's
yeah,
why I'm not mad, and I'm taking my time too. I enjoy being home with my daughter as well. I don't want to be on the road all the time and have to find babysitters and leave her. So
well, I'll tell you, I came off of a tour bus recently, and I don't want to say that I never want to go back on one, but it wasn't really all what I thought it was going to be.
yeah,
It was a lot tougher than I thought. It was tougher, I think, than people think that it's going to be. It was not a walk in the park. Of course, it wasn't a big, you know, $3 million tour bus. That would have been easier. It was just like a normal poor people tour bus. And so it was it was a little rough.
yeah, I would say so. I can't imagine being cramped up for
It
a
was
long period of time.
I got back down here to my house in Florida and I was just like, wow. I mean, just like the first week that I was here after being on the bus for like 6 months, when I could walk from one end of the house to the other, I was like, I felt like it was
Wow.
giant. I was like, wow, look at all this room I have. Yeah. So yeah. And I can't imagine how people do that with their kids. Some people do that all the time and take their kids. And I'm like, it's crazy.
I'd be red. My hair would be gray. Literally.
Is she a wild child? Does she like to move? And is she a mover and shaker?
Yeah, absolutely she is. She does not sit still. She doesn't sit still and she doesn't stop talking ever
Oh, that's
unless
precious
she's
though.
asleep.
Does she sing? Does she sing with you?
She does. She's picked that up really quickly. I sit right here where I'm at right now is like
Hmm.
my little computer space in the kitchen where I do my music and stuff.
Yeah.
And all the time she'll stroll on in here into the kitchen and sit in this chair that I'm sitting in and grab. I've got like a little microphone set up and stuff right here. She
Yeah.
grabs it and starts singing and asks me to play music all the
Isn't that
time.
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
So
she's gonna follow in my footsteps, I think.
have you always sang like since you were a little girl? Is that something you've always just done?
Yeah, well, as soon as I was old enough to start singing, I definitely did. And I took that from my mom. I watched her. She was working at Renfro Valley here when she was, well, before she was pregnant with me, she worked there, but I was born into it. She was doing it when I was born and as I was growing up. So
Oh,
I
perfect.
definitely I followed in her footsteps, and I never took any like vocal training classes, obviously, but
What do you mean?
I just
Obviously, I didn't know that. I
it's because I let some of the comments get to my head. That's what I immediately went and did whenever my audition aired. I started reading comments, and I just saw a few where people were like they could tell that I was a little like uncontrolled a little bit, but I can control my voice. It's just people don't understand that was so nerve-wracking for me.
People that do not sing do not understand that when you get nervous, your voice, your vocal cords contract and you just don't have as much control because it's nerves. And people that have never been in that situation don't know that.
Yeah, it's easy to say that just from the outside looking in, but and they weren't they weren't thinking about how I was the last person of the day that I auditioned, because we had each person was assigned a day that they were auditioning. So like day one would audition on Monday, day two would audition on Tuesday. Mine was like day three or something, but I was the last person of day three to go in that audition room, and it was like 9:30 at night, and I'd been up and practicing and talking and doing interviews and stuff since like 6 o'clock in the morning. Right. So my voice was getting really dry, and I was staying hydrated, but I was trying not to drink too much so that I wouldn't have to pee in the middle of my audition,
Right.
So it was just hard, and I was lack of sleep, and just, oh gosh, it all caught up to me in that moment. And I tried my best, though. I don't know what more I could have done.
I think the first thing Katy Perry said to you was, "It's been a long day for you." Like she acknowledged that immediately. Like, wow, this has been a long day for you.
Hell yeah. And behind the scenes, they cut some out, but we were talking about like, and with you had your baby with you. My baby was with us in Nashville. So it was just really, really long day. I couldn't wait to just lay down, but I was excited to get in there and get it over with. I just didn't think I'd be the very, very last person.
Right.
That was a lot of pressure too.
I think that you did phenomenal. And I'll tell you, the best way to live a happy life is don't ever read the comments.
Oh yeah. I learned that now. I'll stay out of them.
I have to stay off social media. I have to stay completely off of it just to stay happy, just to stay peaceful. I mean, get on there and post, like it's like, play the offense, where you're posting, but not reading anything. Yeah. Like I've stopped even scrolling because it's like people are just miserable and they're just hateful. And I just think, well, you have to choose what you let come inside.
Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah. So. I turned my notifications off. So every now and then I'll go through, but I won't read every single one and just obsess over it like I did. Cause I struggle with self-confidence and stuff anyway. So that was not helping my situation reading those.
Well, and so you said you hadn't had voice lessons. Obviously, I didn't think that was obvious. That was actually my next question to you was, have you had any vocal training? Because you have a phenomenal, for somebody who's never had any formal training, you just have a phenomenal voice and your range is great. I mean, you got a great range.
Oh, thank you.
I just assumed you had some vocal training.
Well, other than like, I did do choir all throughout school. I definitely did choir, and I sang in talent shows at school, and like they would ask me to sing at like graduations and stuff, but other than that, and I sang around little festivals, like up in Lee County, they have the Woolly Worm Festival. I would sing at every year sometimes with my mom and sometimes just on my own. But yeah, that's all I've done, and I sit here and sing in my kitchen or in the shower.
And sing to your baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Woolly Worm Festival, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. So what does your mom think about all of this?
Oh, she's always wanted this for me. She's like, she gets to relive it again, kind of like by watching me go through it. And she's been really supportive, and I know it had to be hard for her to watch that because she wanted that, like, she wanted that at one point, and it got messed up, but she's not bitter, and she's really supportive about it and just happy. She wants the best for me, and she wants as many opportunities to come to me as possible. So good. It's been fun having her to lean on and help me with, she's a lot less nervous than I am, and like singing is natural to both of us. Yeah. But I mean, you can't tell when she sings that she's nervous at all. If she could sing in front of hundreds of people, and never
Really?
hit a bad note and nothing. I mean, people need to hear my mom too, honestly.
You need to make a YouTube video of your mama. Maybe make one of y'all singing together, or a TikTok. We would love that.
We've talked about it. She's really scared for me to put it out there. I'm like, Mom, they want to see you. I've read comments. People have been wanting to hear her. So we'll get on that soon.
Yeah, you tell her we want a TikTok. We demand it. We want a TikTok of it. We want a duet. At least
I'll tell her.
Yeah, I mean, she could do one of herself, but at the very least, a duet.
That's what we're planning we got to find the right song too. Me and her, our voices mine is a little bit more like raspy than hers. Hers is powerful, but it's not raspy sounding like mine. So we got to pick the right song where we can harmonize really good.
I bet you just naturally harmonize. It's family harmonies are so powerful.
Oh yeah, I've been on that side of TikTok here lately. I've found a new favorite TikTok family. I can't remember their name. I'll have to look and tell you later on, but I'll send you a link after we get off here for you to check them out. They harmonize, and it's mothers and daughters. I think there's 2 daughters and the mom, and they just sound like a professional band, like they've been doing it forever.
That's how family harmony is like that. You know, it just happens like so naturally. It makes me jealous. I need a mother or a daughter or something.
That's funny.
Out here trying to harmonize with myself. Can I adopt a daughter? Right.
I have harmonized with myself on TikTok.
Have you?
Sometimes I just like get bored and just play around and see how it'll sound. But yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on and for taking time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was so great meeting you. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. We'll be in touch.
All right, great. Thank you.
Bye.